G'day, how you doing? Adam here from Poseidon Racing with another Z-Run update. Don't know what's doing with this hair, it's pretty shocking. I need to get the clippers out and give that a good old shave. But we didn't come here to talk about my hair or my fashion sense. Ordinary shirt, isn't it? Nice and bright, 60s style. But anyway, we're here to talk about Z-Run. And today I want to talk about cracking the Z-Run breeding code. We're going to look at 4 or 5 horses that are bred horses that are doing very well and even dominating some of the paid events. So let's jump over to full screen and check them out. Now, no surprises to most of you sitting watching this that Pink Man is the first cab off the rank. Pink Man has absolutely been dominating all forms of racing across pretty much all grades, doing extraordinarily well. What we're going to try and do is have a look at the family tree, Pink Man's breeding lineage, and see if we can't find some patterns, and I think we probably can. Now, shout out to Shadow Stable, the owner of Pink Man, an incredible horse. Congratulations on having currently what looks to be arguably the best bred horse in the game and possibly one of the best horses overall in the game. Certainly in the top few percent, that's for sure. Now, have a look at the stats here, 161 races. This is interesting, 47 wins, but only 13 seconds and 9 thirds. So when Pink Man runs, when Pink Man makes a charge for the finish line, he's generally winning and not so often coming second or third. It's just perfect for what you want. You want your horse to make those runs winning runs when it does have the runs. Not the runs, but you know, when it does make a run, you want it to be a winning run. Now, I've got several horses in my stable roughly along that mould, but I've also got a bunch of horses that are really, really consistent. That, you know, they may not win all that often, but when they don't win, they're always, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th, around that, and they rarely come 11th or 12th or anything like that. Now, as this game progresses, I am sure that that consistency is going to be something that you want to breed into the mix potentially to win some of the bigger tournaments that maybe go over, you know, multiple races over multiple days or months or however it might end up panning out. With this particular horse, Pink Man, incredible for those one-off races because from what I can see, he pretty much wins or finishes down the list somewhere. Okay, 29% win rate, absolutely phenomenal. I don't have, and this is something if any admins are watching, on the to-do list, I would love to see the prize money tally, and leave a comment in the comments below here if you would also love to see the prize winning total as part of this main stats sheet here. Okay, we can squeeze it in somewhere. I don't know, even up here we could have the total stable win prize pool, and then somewhere in here we could have the, you know, the horse overall winning amount, okay? But when it's in a race, Pink Man, you can see its overall tally, and it's about $2,500 US winning total for this horse. So very, very good. Now, what we're here for, let's see if we can see, you know, are there any patterns? Now, first of all, Pink Man is a Nakamoto Z7 Elite. So we know already, being an elite, that he is several generations or several breeds away from Genesis, because you go Genesis is the original breed, and then if you breed the Genesis together, you get the legendary breed, and then from legendary, when you step down again, breed that with another Genesis, you will get an exclusive, and then if you breed that again, depending on how you breed that again, the next step down is elite. So it's actually Genesis being tier 1, legendary tier 2, exclusive tier 3, elite tier 4. Okay, so it's a tier 4 elite horse, which is interesting. How that is going to pan out in the long run for breeding, etc., hard to tell at this point. But keep that in mind, Z7 Nakamoto. That might be part of the pattern that we're going to see as we go through these horses, because that's the pattern that I've been seeing. The bred horses that are doing well are sort of those higher number Z6, Z7, Z5, Z3, Z4 Nakamotos, and that's really, really interesting. Now let's have a look at the parent. Scrooge McDuck here. Scroogey McDuck is actually sitting in my stable. He is my brother's horse, But when I noticed the other day that Scrooge McDuck was the father of Pinkman, and then I noticed that my brother had Scrooge McDuck on OpenSea for only 0.17 or 0.15 Ethereum or something like that, I thought, well, first of all, I rang my brother and told him to get him off there because I thought he would be best kept. Now, my brother was away from his computer, so I bought Scroogey. Cost me a bit of money in fees, of course, but my brother gets the Ethereum, that's fine. And I'll give him back to my brother once the gas settles down in any case, more than likely, or maybe I'll keep him and breed him within my stable. It doesn't really matter. We switch horses around all the time. Now, Scroogey McDuck himself, let's click and have a closer look at these two parents here, just to get an idea of the patterns we might be dealing with. Now, Scrooge McDuck himself, 6 races, very lightly raced, only the 1 second, no wins, and 4 offspring. Of those 4 offspring, you can see 2 very talented horses, okay? This one here, let's have a quick look there. We won't spend too much time on this horse, but we have a Zabo Z6 Elite, okay? So given Scroogey was a, what is Scroogey? Scroogey is a Z3 exclusive Nakamoto, so he's been bred with a Zabo, Z3 Genesis, and produced this guy here, okay? There's the Z3 that was bred, and this one's had 18 runs for 27% win rate. Very, very similar in the win to place ratio that we saw from Pinkman too, so that's really interesting as well. Scroogey, of his 4 offspring, 2 very good ones. Kane here doesn't look too much chopped, does he? 24 races, he's been pushed pretty hard and hasn't had a win yet, so, you know, that's to be expected. Not every single horse that is bred from a particularly good combination is going to be good. And this one, the Britannia Stables UK, Tower of London, sitting on an unraced. Could it be the next Pinkman sitting right there? Maybe. Okay. So, Lovely Witch is one of my mares, doing pretty well, fairly lightly raced. And Billions, of course, the very well-known Billions, came together to produce Scrooge McDuck. And as we come down the line, we can see Scrooge McDuck was the father of Pinkman. So you can see there's some reasonably good blood there. Lovely Witch and Billions. And actually, Lovely Witch is also a Z2 legendary Nak that has been bred as well. So there's a lot of Nakamoto blood. Let's have a look at how much Nakamoto blood has come into Scroogey here. So you've got Billions, is a Genesis, and then if we click on Lovely Witch, you've got Wall Street. Interestingly, that is one of my stallions there, and then Chase Jackson. Okay, so you've got those 2 Z1s, plus Billions, coming together to form Scroogey. So you've got 3 Z1 pieces of the puzzle, if you like, coming to Scroogey there. And then if we go back here to Pinkman, we've then added in Kryptonite. Okay, so keep that in mind. We've got 3 Z1 pieces of the puzzle coming together to get Scrooge. How does Kryptonite come together? A very good horse, 80 races, 12 wins, 15%. Excellent horse, excellent win rate. If we come down here, you can see just the 2 offspring, Pinkman, Superstar, and Lush, doing pretty well at 6%. Not bad, not great, but pretty well. Now, Kryptonite has come together through Mercury Rising. Is Mercury a Genesis? Yes. Okay, so that was a Genesis. So we got a bit of Z2 Genesis blood there. And then Glorious Hero, we're back here on Kryptonite. Glorious Hero is Kryptonite's mother. Is that a Genesis? It is. Okay, so to get to Scrooge McDuck, hopefully this is not confusing you. Let's click off there now. To get here to Scrooge McDuck, to get to Pinkman, Scrooge McDuck had 3 Z1 Genesis Nakamoto pieces of the puzzle coming together, and then Kryptonite had 2 Z2 pieces of the puzzle coming together. Okay, so that's 5 very talented horses coming together when you mix these 2 together to form Pinkman. Maybe that could be the pattern. That's certainly the hunch that I have currently, and it's, to be honest, it's not too far away from the hunch that I was using prior to the reset to create horses like Ace King. Who else did I have that was particularly good? Hypersonic, for example, and even not my horse, but Paddy Jack Stable's horse was Winchester. Had a lot of really good blood and Nakamoto blood coming together to form Winchester. A lot of these horses are no longer all that good after the reset, but that's okay. Here is number 2, and speaking of Paddy Jack Harleys, this is one of his horses here. He's done really well with this particular horse, Wildcatter. Not as well raced as Pinkman, 36 races, 11 wins, 30%. A lot of these are paid races, so it's been doing very, very well. I'm not sure what its prize money is, but it's been doing reasonably well because it has been running a lot of paid races. Let's take a look at how Wildcatter has been put together. Now you can see straight up, we've got Zion here, which is a Z1 stallion. Look, to be honest, we can see most of the stats we need to see here. And, well, actually, let's click on. See how many runs he's had. About 20, I think. 18. 1 win. 3 seconds, 1/3. 5.6% win rate. Look, not great. He's got 16 offspring. We won't go through all those. But you can see Let's Elope doing pretty well. Wildcatter. So there's a couple in there that are doing pretty well. If we jump back here to Wildcatter, we've also got Gisela, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. How was she put together? She is a legendary, and she has come from 2 other Z1s. So that's pretty interesting that Wildcatter has 3 pieces of the Z1 puzzle within its DNA as well. So it's got Zion, which is on the father's side, and then it's got on the mother's side here, Gisela was made up of Slander Unlimited and Widget. Okay, Slander Unlimited, a particularly good Z1 stallion that pretty much everyone in the game knows about at this point. All right, if we click on that, you might see, is it producing? Yeah, it's producing some decent winners here, 20%, 14%. 16, but then you've got the grandkids sort of coming down the line and producing Wildcatter as well. Okay, so excellent. Gisela will close that down. Okay, so here we go. We got Wildcatter, 36 races, 11 wins, 30%, doing very well, mixing it with the big boys in class 1 and 2 in the paid stuff as well. And basically the pattern that I'm seeing here is that Wildcatter is made up of 3 pieces of the Z1 puzzle, which again was similar in that first look at Pinkman, wasn't it? Pinkman is 1 further breed down the line as well. So maybe if Wildcatter was bred again, you might get an even better horse potentially. All right, Faith of 7, one of mine. You know, these are horses that I've got my eye on and that are doing particularly well. We're starting to run down into the lower percentage points now. There's going to be some other horses that are doing slightly better. If there are, put them in the comments below and I might do another look and see if the theory is proven, strengthened or weakened based on these other great horses that are coming. Now I know there are some horses, Z20 Buterins and whatnot, that have been bred and doing well too. So if you know of those ones, put them down below and we'll take a deeper dive and look at those too. Here we go. Faith of 7, how was she put together? On the father's side, it stops right here. We have a Z1 Genesis. Okay, so there's one element of Z1 Genesis there. Firestorm on the mother's side. Now I don't think Firestorm is terribly awesome, you know. Similar, and he's in my brother's stable actually, Firestorm. Desi's Dream, that's my brother's stable. Kicking my butt on percentages at the moment too. Good on you, Desi. Firestorm has had only the 2 runs, so lightly raced, but wasn't that great prior to reset. Maybe she just needs a few more runs. Maybe she's really good. But let's see how she was made up. She's made up from a Z1 here, so that's 2 pieces of the Z1 puzzle. I'm not sure if this is a thing, but I've got a hunch that maybe the more pieces of the Z1 puzzle you can put in together, or the more pieces of the puzzle that you can put together of good horses, maybe. Okay, so that's 2 pieces. You've got Green Arcadia there. And then category 5, I believe this horse is still somewhere within our stables. Yep, in my brother's stable as well. I only had the one run. Category 5 is a Z5 exclusive. Again, AAA being the father, another piece of the Z1 puzzle. Twister being the mother. This one was bred specifically, Faith of 7 was bred specifically on a hunch. Back when I saw how Winchester was produced, basically breeding down Z1 to Z1 to Z1 to Z1, I thought, this looks easy, I'll jump in. I spent a fortune, probably spent $500 or more, breeding Faith of 7. And to be honest, she was terrible at the time, but after the reset, she's come back pretty good. So maybe there was something in there. And you can see as we keep going down, you can see that she has a bit of better with bacon. One of the old superstars before the reset, not performing as brilliantly now. And then if we go to the mother again, you can see also has Z1 Striker in there. And if we go to Unstoppable, is there more? There is. It starts with Corona, the old Corona, and then Vernom. Okay. YouTube's probably going to give me a black mark for saying the word of this particular horse, which I just said. But anyway, so you can see this horse, this one here, Faith of 7, has been bred way down the line, Z1 to Z1 to Z1 to Z1 to Z. Now, I'm not suggesting that's possibly a tactic, because that was blindly bred, and a lot of those Z1s, maybe not the best. Maybe I could breed a little bit more accurately. For example, you know, if we come back to Wildcatter, he's looking really, really good at the exclusive level. And then if you chose a really, really talented Z1 to push that blood down the line, then maybe that would be a better option. But here we have Faith of 7, which is a Z7 exclusive, doing, you know, pretty well. 83 races, 14 wins, 15 seconds. A few too many seconds for my liking there, but not too many thirds, which is good. And doing relatively well. Not as good as the first 2 that we looked at. Now let's clean this up a little bit. There's a couple of other horses here that are not mine. This one is an ex-horse from my stable, one that I bred. Kind of wish I didn't sell her, but the reason I did is because I still have the mare that produced Hypersonic, and potentially I can reproduce a similar horse, fingers crossed. Now again, a Z6 Elite. Let's take a look at how Hypersonic has been put together, or before we do that, Hypersonic, 96 races, 14 wins, 11 seconds, 12 thirds. So again, probably not the ideal horse. I mean, imagine if you took, you know, 6 or 8 of those seconds and put them in firsts, and 6 or 8 of those thirds and put them in first, you would have something that was as good as Pinkman. Okay, so she's only a hair, this particular horse, or it's a he, a colt. Hypersonic is only a hair away from, you know, potentially being as good as Pinkman. Okay, she's probably got just as many, or probably got a higher percentage of podium finishes, but she doesn't have that really high percentage of win rates. Big shout out to Crab Cakes here. You got yourself a nice horse there that I sold really quite cheaply, and it's already paid you back several times, I would imagine. Doing very, very well. How is it put together? Let's have a look. Crimson Star is Crimson Star. I can hardly say that word. Crimson Star. Is Crimson Star a Genesis? No, it's a legendary. And you can see it comes from Excalibur and Owner Mode. Okay? Excalibur was one of the old superstars of the pre-race algorithm, or pre-reset algorithm. Struggling a bit for wins, but doing very well in its consistency in places. Owner Mode, okay, doesn't look like it's had too many, if any, runs, has it? No, none. Okay, so that gives us Crimson Star. 12, nearly 13% win rate, not too bad, okay, that's not too bad. But it's got the important part, potentially, or maybe the hunch that I'm working on, it's got 2 pieces of the Z1 puzzle. Alabaster Lily. I'm not sure, I think I bought this horse from the King Beaver. Shout out to the Beeve. If I can call you the Beeve. Probably not. Now this one, Alabaster Lily, I think these are actually Genesis Z2s, are they not? Oh no, they're not. Z2 Legendary. So here you go. Another 2 pieces of the Z1 puzzle coming together here to form Alabaster Lily's father. Okay, that one there. Okay, so Alabaster Lily's father has another 2 pieces of the Z1 puzzle. And Bittersweet has another 2 pieces of that Z1 puzzle. Okay, so if we come back to how are they for 13? Okay, pretty decent. There's a couple of, looks to be some decent blood in there. So this one here, Alabaster Lily, doing very, very well. A Z4 exclusive. She is also a mare, so she'll be able to breed with, I should have kept her. Damn, I didn't really think about that. The exclusive mares are really, really valuable in my opinion because you can breed them with Z1 stallions or any Genesis stallion for that matter, and the offspring will stay exclusive at the exclusive level. So you're not degrading that breed type down into elite, and I think that's going to prove important as we push further and further into this game. So well done there, Alabaster Lily. Here we are back here. Sorry, I got confused there, didn't I? I did get confused. Alabaster Lily is mine. I've still got it. So I'll be looking to breed her with a Z1. Alabaster Lily is, of course, the mother of Hypersonic. Okay? So Alabaster Lily is actually my horse. And I'll be looking to breed her with more Z1s and see if we can't produce more Hypersonic style horses in the exclusive range with the aim of trying to get a really good exclusive mare, which can then be pushed down the line a bit more again. Okay, but again, Hypersonic here has a lot of Z1 puzzle pieces within her DNA. It's getting on a bit this video, isn't it? Let's look at one more here. Louis Vuitton, 43 races, 7 wins, 16%. Good early start to its race career. Now this is just a hunch again. I haven't looked at this horse before, but you can see Z1 on the father's side here. And how is Saya, the mother's side, made up? Better with Bacon, another piece of the Z1 puzzle. Aya Stark, hopeless at pronouncing these strange names, or strange to me at least. Aya Stark, Arya Stark. I've never been good at reading, to be honest. You can laugh at me at home, it's all good. Has been made up of 2 Z2s. Are they Genesis? Just going back through. Yes, that was a Genesis on the father's side. 100% is a Genesis. And then on the mother's side, is also a Genesis Z2. So as we come back, we have Arya Stark. You're going to get me with a funny name, one of you guys, soon, aren't you? Some weird name. Anyway, 2 Z2 Genesis make up that particular horse. As we come back here, we've got, so on this side, on the mother's side, we've got 2 Z2 Genesis, then a Z1 Genesis there, and as we come back to Louis Vuitton, we've got another Z1. So this horse's DNA is basically made up from 2 Z1 pieces of the puzzle and 2 Z2 pieces of the puzzle. I can't remember which horse was way back here, but was it? It was Z-Man. It was Pink Man that had a very similar DNA makeup to that, wasn't it? With the 2, yes it was. This horse here was 2 Z2 Genesis. Yes it is. Okay, so Pink Man and this one here, sorry, and Louis Vuitton, very similar makeup in the fact that they've got a couple of Z1 pieces of the puzzle and a couple of Z2 pieces of the puzzle, whereas the middle horses, which was Wildcatter, where are you? Wildcatter, Faith of 7 and Hypersonic have predominantly Z1 pieces of the puzzle in their DNA. Okay, so where do we stand with that? Do we go out and start breeding our mares with Z1 stallions? Well, of course you could, but there's a huge risk at the moment. I'm not sure I'll be doing too much of that. I think I might give Alabaster Lily another go, just to see if I can't progress that Hypersonic style horse, and hopefully, fingers crossed, pick up a hypersonic style talented horse, or maybe even slightly better if possible, within a mare. So once you have that mare, then you can also keep progressing and progressing and progressing, hopefully. You can progress the colts, but the problem is you will be going from elite here. If you breed this hypersonic colt, you'll go from elite to, what's the next line down? Pacer? I think it's pacer or cross or pacer. So you're getting further down. Now what that means in the breeding structure, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm assuming that it's harder to get that, you know, that sort of formula of DNA to mix in a positive way. So currently, yes, of course, you can go out and start breeding a style horse like this by breeding down the line, down the line, down the line, down the line. But there is a risk as well. I think for me, what I'll be doing is trying to get horses like Wildcatter here as very, very good exclusives, and then breed those with very, very good, or as good as I can find, Z1 or Z2 stallions, and then stop and check how those horses are running. And if I have a really, really good mare, then I will repeat the process essentially and see if I can't progress and start building up the DNA with more and more of the highest talented DNA in the game. Now, I don't know if this is an actual thing or it just happens to be a random pattern that I've spotted. Now, the other potential risks to this equation are as such. Currently, the gas transaction fee on breeding is very, very high, around $70 US. So not only do you have to pay the breeding fee, if we're talking Z1, Z2, you're looking at currently 0.09 minimum, which is, you know, getting rather expensive now. You know, given Ethereum was at $1,200 today or $1,300, you're probably looking at about $100, $110 for that. And then you've got to put on top of that, the gas transaction fee, which is going to be $70 to $100 US. Currently, it's very, very risky to do so. Now, the second problem is we are still in beta, in the test mode. The racing algorithm is not locked down. The breeding algorithm is not locked down. So we could be potentially looking at another reset like we had recently, where all the breeding was reset, all the stats were reset, and all the horses were essentially reshuffled. So horses like Wildcatter and Pinkman, the equivalent to them prior to the reset was a horse called Winchester and one of my horses called Ace King, which were really dominating all forms of the event, paid free the lot, and winning at about 35 to 40%. They're basically not have nothing now, just looking pretty in the stable because their win rate has dropped to almost nothing at all. Okay, so be aware of that. The risks involved, yes, in the short term you can produce a horse that could earn $2,500, $3,000 or more dollars, which would be great, and that would more than offset the risk of a couple of $100 in breeding. But the risks are, how many horses are you going to have to breed to get that one Pinkman? Now, there's only a handful of these horses dominating currently, and there's probably, you know, a couple of hundred, maybe 500, maybe 1,000 horses that have been bred maybe in a similar way. Maybe not 1,000, but maybe 100 or 200 that have been bred in a similar way. So if it's only a 1 in 100 or 1 in 50, you're going to have to get real lucky to get one of these horses when you're paying big breeding fee and a big tax fee on top of that. You know, it might not be worth it until both of those fees come down a little bit. Anyway, something worth thinking about. Long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this content. Leave a comment below, hit the like, all that stuff really helps to get the channel out and encourages me to produce one of these videos roughly once a week. Thanks again for watching along. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.